All right. So, um, it's a little unusual, because if you check your calendar, it is currently the month of November, and you're seeing a video, we'll see if we end up clipping this out. Probably will, about the Detroit Red Wings. And it is not a positive one. So I want to start by just getting this out of the way. Yes, they won on Saturday against Buffalo. I was there. I watched the game. I was happy that they won. Both their goals were on the power play. When I say that this team is awful on 5, I mean they are one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in 5-on-5. And frankly, if it was not for the multiple elite goaltending performances from both Cam Talbot and Alex Lyon, the record that this team stands at would be much, much worse. And what's even more upsetting about that is this team has played 11 games and is 5-5-1. And I'm telling you that if it weren't for those crazy goaltending performances, this team would be worse when they are currently 500 out of the wild card, out of the playoffs. Let me tell you something. Last year, when I came out against this team and said that Coach Lalonde and much of the roster did not make any sense, I was excoriated. I was public enemy number one for questioning our Lord and Savior, Steve Yzerman, and his roster construction and his coaching hire and his free agency signing. And now I look at the way this team performs, and it is exactly the fear that I have. Coach Lalonde is basically just coaching for his job at this point. Every win, he feels a little bit more secure in the fact that he is not going to get fired over the weekend. On the other end of it, the team has basically no style. I want anybody, please tell me what style of hockey would you describe this team as playing? Are they finesse team? Are they grind team? Are they are they close, like on a scale of like Carolina Hurricanes to Edmonton Oilers? Where exactly do they lie? Right? What do you think they end up at? And they don't really have any strength. I mean, if you want to say, okay, they have a good power play. Look, for one, I don't even know if I believe you. like I really don't. Yes, we've had a couple of nice. I mean, look, just this past weekend, we had the 2 power play goals against Buffalo, and that was the difference. I can't fully believe in this power play because of Coach Lalonde and just the fact that it's never been elite. Nothing about this team has ever been elite under Coach Lalonde. So why he has a job, I just don't get. I don't know how he kept his job after the collapse of last year. And so it all comes down to one man, unfortunately. One Stevie Yzerman. Stevie Yzerman. Let me tell you something. All that I hear about Steve Yzerman, about the Red Wings, is how good their farm system is, how good the future is, right? How they got all these guys. They got all, they got your Johanssons. They got your Savages. They got your Kosas and your Danielsons and your Hoobadoos and your Beebity Bops. Where are all these elite guys when they get to the NHL level? Because, look, maybe Marco Kasper, maybe Albert Johansson, maybe they'll be fine players. I don't know. You don't know. I guarantee you, most of the people defending Steve Yzerman are not watching AHL games. And if they are, I implore you to please go outside. Please. I am trying to be friendly, but just do anything else other than watch minor league hockey. Like, read a book. Draw a picture of a hockey player. I don't know. Whatever you got to do to stop watching AHL, do that. All right? Moving along. Look, Kasper and Johansson, fine. I'm glad that they've got brought up. I thought both of those guys should have made the team to begin with. They only basically got brought up because of injuries and guys just not performing when they should have just been on the team to begin with. Look, this team is just old. I mean, if I just go up and down the list of guys that are under 25, it's pretty low. I mean, Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider, Simon Edvinson, uh, Marco Casper. I don't even. Is Joe Valeno under 25? I actually don't know. How old is Joe Valeno? He is 24. Okay. All right. Joe Valeno. Uh, Jonathan Berggren, who is awful. like, I mean, I'm so glad that we were keeping this guy in the AHL, Steve. For his 0 goals and 0 points to this point in the season. Or I'm sorry, is 1 point. I'm so sorry. He's got 1 more point than me. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's got a point. And Albert Johansson, again, another player, no points, and he's a negative guy on the ice. If you take plus or minus to mean anything. And again, maybe you're saying, well, you're not looking at the advanced stats. I don't look. Advanced stats are not all right. The team is not performing, and the roster construction to this state of the team sucks. It just sucks. Who is the number 1 elite go-to goal scorer? There is none. If you want to say Dylan Larkin, look, we were saying this basically since Steve Yzerman got here. If Dylan Larkin is your number 1 goal scoring guy, your number 1 forward, is the best forward on your team, you are not going to win a Stanley Cup. I love Dylan Larkin. He's a great player. He scored the 2 goals in the power play. I have nothing but admiration and love for my baby boy, Dylan Larkin, all right? He basically was the only reason, frankly, it seemed, that we even almost made the playoffs last year. But if he is your front runner, you are going to run into a wall. Like, there's just a point where, okay, we need Lucas Raymond to be that guy. And maybe he is. He leads the team in points right now. But he's only got the 1 goal on the year, all right? Maybe Marco Casper can develop into that guy. The point is, the more and more time that we go through the myriad of draft picks of guys that we need to be that guy, the more it's starting to get to the point where it's like, what about this elite drafting has actually translated into elite players on the ice at the NHL level? Mo Seider is a great player. I love Mo Seider. Lucas Raymond, good player. Really love Lucas Raymond. I got nothing on Marco Casper or Albert Johansson. Jonathan Berggren, you can throw in the garbage because this guy stinks. And I mean, the fact that he didn't win a job over, David Perron last year, who, granted, David Perron, decent enough player, but the fact that he wasn't winning a job, practically speaking, over some of these guys last year told me everything I needed to know. And the fact that he was on the team this year, I don't know why anybody would have thought anything differently. I mean, like, he's just not an NHL player. And neither is Joe Valeno, frankly. This is another thing. People can, laugh and, point out how bad some of these players are. It's like, well, why is Steve Yzerman keeping these guys on the roster? Why does Jeff Petrie get a spot on this team? Because I'll just say it. Like, if his name was Jeff Smith, he wouldn't be on the team. It's a hell of a coincidence that his dad works for the owner of the team. Granted, for the Tigers, it's a hell of a coincidence. What exactly does Austin Watson do for me? I'm pretty sure we picked this guy off the street. Tyler Mott? Who are these people? Justin Hall? Why did he even get brought in? You know what's crazy? If we just go through the points production, the guys, many of the guys that are at the very bottom are guys that Steve Yzerman either voluntarily just brought in, or guys that were drafted, or guys that he just hasn't gotten rid of to this point, and nobody really knows why. We have the all-star cast of Eric Gustafson and Ben Sherratt and Justin Hall and Jeff Petrie, all of which, by the way, in case you wanted to keep score, were brought in by none other than Steve Yzerman. And you know what's actually really funny? I was thinking about this. The whole point, or the whole thought process of Steve Yzerman bringing in and drafting certain guys is, we want responsible defensive players, guys who aren't going to, turn over the puck, but can still, they can play solid defense. They might not be elite goal scorers, but they play solid defense. they're not, irresponsible players. They're not irresponsible. I gotta tell you, the amount of times I've seen players on our team turn the puck over or not play good defense, like you want to talk about bad defensive guys? Jeff Petrie, hello, do you even know you're a defenseman, sir? Ben Sherratt, how many times do I got to see Ben Sherratt look up in the air like, oh, how did that? I don't. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how that guy got past me. Or Justin Hall, who is allegedly a member of this team. He wasn't even playing all of last year, but yet for whatever reason, we're like, yeah, let's keep him around. Let's keep him around. It's like Derek Lalonde. What exactly do you do here? Like you want to say, well, he brought in DeBrincat and he brought in Kane. Okay. I like Kane. I like DeBrincat. Listen, it's not 2019, guys. All right? Like, we're not talking about, and I frankly, I don't really want to be the 2019 Chicago Blackhawks. Like, this team is 5 years into Steve Yzerman's tenure and is just so painfully average that I really don't know where you go forward from here. Like, I was talking to my brother about this, and credit to him. He follows hockey. He's followed hockey for a very long time. He's a hockey nerd, if you will. He said, basically, good option for you might be to just sell at the deadline and start over and build around Casper, Sider, and Raymond, and just see what you can do. Bring in draft picks, bring in prospects, and just bring up the youth. Basically do what the Tigers did, where you sell off these aging contracts, these aging vets, and then you call up the kids. You call up Carter Mazer, you call up Nate Danielson. I don't know. Do whatever it is you got to do. Because the other thing too that grinds my gears, like if I gotta hear, well, we gotta wait for these guys to develop. It's like other teams aren't doing that. Why do we gotta take so long? Like all these, and you can say, oh well, they're not doing it right. If they're not doing it right, I want to know what we're doing. Because right now, the way we're playing, I would be shocked if we could make the playoffs. Certainly not with this roster. We're going to need to do a similar thing to what the Tigers did. We're going to have to sell off guys like Tarasenko, like, Gustafsson, like some of these vets, trade them. Maybe Patrick Kane has to go as well. And just bring some youthful energy, bring some speed to this team. And just hope that maybe guys like Casper or Johansson or, the additions of Mazer or whoever, if they can, spark something in this team. Because the way that it's going, look, if they don't make the playoffs again this year, what exactly are we to do with Steve Yzerman as a general manager? Because as far as I'm concerned, is that if this team doesn't make the playoffs again, you are like tantamount to being fired at that point. Because if I got to hear we have to reset the rebuild, well then, Steve, you're not going to be the one to rebuild because this is your fault. We're in this mess because of your doing. I don't want you anywhere near it at that point. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.